Okay, my name is Kirill Petkov. I'm a professor in the Department of History, UWRF, and I've been so for the last 15 years or so. And for the last 15 years or so, I have been the tour leader for the Italy Study Tour. The Italy Study Tour is a 2-week full immersion program of Italian culture and civilization and art and history and food and you name it. Everything that goes with it. And we have been having this practically every single J term since 2006. The Italy Study Tour goes with History 382, which is a general education approved class, which gives general educational liberal arts credits for anyone who signs the class, and the way UWRF set it about 3 years ago, I think. It is now a credit that goes automatically to the person who enrolls into the program. The class is the on-campus part of the program, and it involves several meetings beforehand, before we actually take to the plane and then to Italy. And we do have a solid background during these meetings, try to develop a solid background of what we shall see in Italy and in the context, that is to say, civilizational, cultural, political, social, economic, of the artifacts, phenomena, and generally speaking, the immersion in Italian culture. It takes place on several 2-hour periods, normally about 6-hour periods. And during these 6-hour periods, people develop a presentation on a topic that is to their liking and that is directly connected to some part of the program, the actual visit to Italy. These presentations inform the rest of the group and, of course, the person themselves as to what is to be expected in terms of direct understanding of what we shall see there and how we shall see it. How does it mean to the Italians, and what, generally speaking, it has as an educational luggage, as an educational background to the people who participate in the course and in the program. Apart from that, we do have a final project. Each of the students at the end of the Italian experience has certain time to prepare some sort of a final project. And this final project is something that works with good part of the grade, actually, and is something that is directly related to the interest of the particular student. Final projects can be in any kind of format. They can be written paper, they can be a multimedia project, they can be a something that has to do with, let's say, putting together a specific performance, or even creating an artifact that has to do with Italian experience, the way people experienced in Italy. So the combined effect of the Italian experience, above all, the full immersion, the preparation to go to Italy, and ultimately of the final product, I think rounds up nicely a significant amount of cultural exposure that people get by participating in the program. Okay, Italy is a place where you can have I think, a good mix of free-arranged and free time. We normally stay in hotels. I would say 3-star hotel is the standard. Sometimes we'll go a little bit higher, sometimes we'll go low, but we maintain a relatively good standards of the accommodation. All of the accommodations are centrally located, and we visit the 3 big heavyweights, that is to say, Rome, Florence, and Venice as headquarters. But from there, we do side trips. Normally, one full day or half day of side trips, combining them depending on the situation, depending on the year. Venice, Florence, and Rome are the places where civilization, culture, and art pretty much overwhelming you. So we do try to take easier day going to some, well, relatively not that well explored, not that well known part of the Italian countryside, a small town, which immerses you in a typical Italian provincial atmosphere, if you wish. Or we go and see some big place, like for example in Padua, we'll go and see the famous chateau painted by Giotto, etc., etc. So we do stay in accommodations in the central part of town, and normally we will be having, as everywhere it is nowadays, we have a breakfast in the hotel, and we'll take off into a morning exploration of some major artifact. And then we'll have lunch. Normally, lunches are free for people to find it as, because we're always on the go. And normally we'll have something quick. On several occasions, normally on 4 or 5 occasions, however, we have pre-arranged lunches, which I take people to places where experience something very typical for the Italian cuisine of the place where we are. And it's also affordable to the pocket of the student, but these are things that are included into the student fee. We also have normally we have a dinner together on arrival, so people kind of get slowly to get immersed in the Italian way of doing things and people sampling whatever the local places have to offer. So a typical day will be breakfast in the hotel, then either all food or pre-arranged transportation. I usually use pre-arranged transportation because the time in Italy is short. I try to take most of it, so I would like to have things arranged so we can move as fast as possible to one place to another, not to use public transportation to waste time. Then we have to see a big site, like say in Rome, that will be the Vatican Museums. And we have a quick bite somewhere here and there. And in the afternoon, we'll have a couple of other smaller sites, normally the way I do it. By 5 o'clock or so, we have finished with the official part of the program. And then I offer several opportunities for people to go and see whatever they would like in smaller groups. I will take some of them that meet, or I will recommend places them which we have been our road during the day, or something else that they have actually found out on themselves on their own, and I would like to see by themselves. If I can help them, I'll take them there. If not, I'll find a way to get them there and then move on with another group. Dinners are normally on people's own. Practically everywhere we go into the big headquarters, the dining atmosphere is quite dense around the places where we sit, so several options to do. And I would say anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock, people are already so exhausted that they hit the sack and have a good night's sleep and prepare themselves for the next early morning adventure. That's what a typical day will be looking like in Italy. It's very difficult to say if there is a favorite food in Italy because everything is a favorite food. One most peculiar experience of students that I always see is that they think of Italian cuisine as what we see here in the United States. The fact is, a good deal of the Italian-made cuisine, that is to say something like, for example, the Olive Garden, is not Italian food at all. So one of the greatest shock in people's lives is when they actually get exposed to the true Italian food. Also, I have been kind of very surprised sometimes when they're exposed to real Italian food. It comes like a shock in a different way to them. For example, here in the United States, if you eat prosciutto, right, you don't really realize that it's actually a crude meat. Is not boiled, and the ham that we eat is a boiled ham. Some people, for the moment, kind of feel a little bit queasy about it. As for my personal favorite, and I would recommend it to anyone who ever goes to Italy and drinks coffee, at least just a bit, just try it an Italian espresso and forget about any other coffee. The moment we land in the airport in Leonardo da Vinci in Rome, I make a beeline directly for the first coffee shop, and the fact is that Italian espresso is an Italy in a nutshell. It is plain, it is dark, it is tasty, it is sweet, it is rich, and it goes down in 2 sips and makes you feel in heaven. You will never try another coffee again. That's what I say. I think the study abroad programs are unparalleled way to enrich a young person. A person who's developing some sort of a worldview and a mindset, which is pretty much all young people like me, like everybody else when we were in our late teens and early 20s, try to see the world and to build an understanding of the world is all about. There is absolutely nothing that compares to actually setting foot in a different place, and discovering that people can do things there on a smaller scale, not such a grand scale as they here in the United States, on a more modest scale, but nonetheless just as rich and fulfilling. And any experience that comes to it, particularly for young minds, will be something that will stay with people for a very long time and will open their minds for understanding and evaluating and finding meaning in so many different aspects of their life. And every educational experience abroad offers different possibilities. I know there are programs that offer tropical vacations, but that's a vacation that actually has enormous amount of educational value in terms of biodiversity, in terms of interacting with native culture, in terms of conservation. There are other programs that expose people to political and social arrangements, There are programs that find people in interaction with nature. Italian experience is an experience above all of culture. Italy, until very recently, was, and for a considerable amount of time, I think it will continue to be the most visited tourist place in the world. And for a reason. And the reason is that the layers of culture from prehistoric times, from the times of the Etruscans, the Romans, the medieval papacy, and if you wish, the early modern art and modern kind of culture, the layers of history, civilization, art, and culture cannot be seen anywhere else in the world. So if you want a true cultural experience, the sophistication in a nutshell, offered to you in a way which I like this particular Italian word, sprezzatura, nonchalantly, in a very natural way, but actually is the product of thousands of millennia of accumulated human experience in sophistication and refinement. Italy is for you.